What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Stella Herself podcast. Happy solar eclipse. Honestly, I can't wait to get into talking about that. But I hope everyone is having a great week. Don't forget to screenshot this, post it on your IG story, tag me. I love seeing your guys' vibes. Like when y'all are watching me on your TV with like your candles or your diffusers or like your pets, like that's just so cute and honestly relatable because like I'd be doing that, you know? So thank you so much for all the love. And yeah, let's just get right into it, honestly. So to be honest, I've been having a great week. It's only Tuesday, but I am doing 12 days of Vlogmas. And if you know me, maybe you can relate. I want to say maybe you can relate because you have some earth in your chart, but maybe you can just relate. I'm a very like goal-oriented person, so I feel like I strive. Is that the word? No, that's not the word. It sounds like, what the heck? Oh my God. I do well when I have a goal and I have like structure and something to work towards. I literally have every earth sign in my chart, so blame it on that. But yeah, I've been waking up every day just feeling so motivated and like ready to go and just like so much purpose, and I really missed this feeling. I feel like I've definitely had this feeling a little bit, just like in general more over these past couple of months, because I feel like especially after summer ended, I just really was like, let's just get to it, and like I really want to work on my channel and I just want to work, period. So I feel like I've been like getting to that feeling like slowly but surely. And now I just feel like, let's go. Like I have that New Year's energy, that I always talk about around this time of year. I'm just so excited. And I just feel hopeful, I guess, in so many ways, like both personally for myself and then also just with the pandemic, because, they released the vaccine, as in I think they're distributing it. I feel like releasing it. I mean, technically they did release it, but to me that sounds like anyone can do it now, but that's not the case. But, it's available, or no, I think it's not yet available to everyone. I don't know, but they released it, and I just feel like that's so good for everyone, and especially people who are at risk. And, with Biden being elected and going to be in office next month, I just feel like hopefully, we just get somewhere with all of this like madness that's going on as a country, as a world, and then personally for me, I just feel excited, like, okay, even if Biden puts us on lockdown, or like in California, in Los Angeles, we're already on lockdown. Even if we're on lockdown for however long, the next 6 months, the next even longer than that, I feel like good about it. Like I feel like I am in a routine now, and I kind of know what I want to work on, and I'm kind of good without the extra distractions. And I would say, I'm sure you can probably relate. Normally in the wintertime, I'm like that anyway. I don't go out as much. That's just the wintertime, and like, early spring, like I just, it's like whatever. It's like summertime where I'm like bullshitting. But yeah, I'm just like, I can just continue doing my workout routines, and I can just keep making videos and just working on myself and like personal growth. And then hopefully by the time stuff opens up, I'll just be a lot more poppin' in every aspect, like spiritually, emotionally, mentally, careerly. So I just feel really good about it. And maybe that's that Sag season optimism, but let me know how you've been feeling, honestly, because I want to know if this is kind of like a feeling that's going around. Hopefully it is, because I feel like this was just such a hard year. And I think also just like feeling, because it's like, okay, I had to, like, personally, and I think for some of us it's like, okay, I just had to be inside, but it's just all the stuff going on all the time, and it's just all this like doom And like sometimes you just feel helpless, or sometimes you just feel like, what's the point of anything? Like the world sucks. Like no one, politicians don't care. Like they're not doing anything to help us. Like it's just like, what? You just keep hearing like terrible story after terrible story. And that's like the minimum, you know? So people really be slamming their doors. So I'm hoping the 2021 just brings a little more peace. And like I keep saying, I'm definitely trying to, I guess, set resolutions or just kind of think of themes that I want for this upcoming year. Things that I can control, things that are in my control, things that have to do with self-growth and self-development. And I know I have talked about this, but I feel like just because I have spent so much time alone this year, I've really been doing a lot of like reflecting and thinking, and sometimes it's definitely good and like helpful, and sometimes it's also like, okay bitch, you're thinking about the same thing like over and over. You're just in like a think spiral or hole, and it's like you've exhausted it. You've learned what you can from it. Like stop thinking about it, you know? It depends. I like the self-reflection times where we're like, okay, we learned, move on. Or like, oh, let me think about this thing from like 5 years ago, and like, oh, what was the point of me saying that? So I guess like moving forward, it's like whole new world. Like I just feel personally almost stronger in myself, because I feel like I have definitely worked on like being, it's like a practice, I think, to be confident in yourself and to be strong in yourself. And you know, when you know you want to change something, to actually practice it and to actually practice those uncomfortable moments. Like I think I was talking about it in one of my recent vlogs. I was like, honest chat. But it honestly was like, sometimes I say things and I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like, but I post it with the hope that like someone will relate, or like usually when I share stuff, it's because I have already kind of learned something from it. So I'm like, hopefully this can just like help someone else, or like spark an idea in their mind that makes them think about things maybe differently. Like just having a different perspective sometimes can help so much. But just little things like, I feel like spending so much time alone, at least for me, it's made me like almost raise my standards, because throughout this, I've realized that like just the classics, I am my own best friend. I am always going to be there for me. And also, you know, no one's going to do it except you. Like you have to be the one to make the change that you want. Like not to be like inspirational.quotes.ig, but it's like, it's like almost an inside joke with myself. Well, y'all know like the shaking hands emoji, one of my favorites, but I will just like do that. Like I'll like do something and I'm like, no one's got me, like I got me. Because it's true, you know? We only have ourselves at the end of the day. So it's like you almost realize, at least for me, I've realized I'm going to be okay if I'm like alone. And I think that is like one of the most almost profound things that you can fully believe, and like how you can like live, almost one of the most profound ways you can live your life, because it puts your tolerance for bullshit at such a minimum. If you don't think you're going to be okay alone, you're going to be saying yes to so many people who like aren't good for you, or who are taking advantage of you, or who are just not right for you and your life. And that goes for relationships, friendships, maybe career opportunities. I don't know. It can just go for so much. You know the old video of Nicki Minaj, and she's like, if I asked for pickle juice, I would just have pickle juice and I wouldn't have all this. Like now, I think she was talking about leaving a photo shoot or something because she wasn't happy with it. She's like, now next time they know how to act because I set the standard. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. It's not really word for word, but I was just like, that's so true. And I'm sure y'all know, if you've listened to this or watched me, I feel like I'm always kind of talking about this subject or like this issue, because bitch, I be living it. And I feel like for me, that's just like one of the lessons I've had to learn It feels like so many times. And I feel like this past year I've just really, like, okay, like, it's part of my life now. Like, I have actively put in so much work to, like, I guess, set those standards, set boundaries, learning how to say no, like, learning how to just be strong in myself and confident in myself. So, it was a solar eclipse 2 days ago now. Well, probably by the time this is posted. I think it was on Monday. It was on the 14th. And it was a new moon solar eclipse. I want to read a little bit about it, and then I'm going to go into, like, me and, like, just, like, how I experienced it, and then I want to hear about your guys's. So, new moon solar eclipse, let me see, Cafe Astrology, cafeastrology.com. The effects can be felt up to 6 months after the actual state of the eclipse. In the Jupiter-ruled sign of Sagittarius, our personal belief system, sense of adventure, desire to explore and discover, religious beliefs and personal philosophy, personal truth, sharing ideas, etc., will be a strong focus. This eclipse might challenge these matters and present opportunities for new beginnings. It can be considered a cosmic nudge towards creating a better balance between the need for facts and figures. The focus is on new beginnings related to our personal interests and philosophy, as well as our world view. It has the power to set up themes for the coming 6 months. Occurring in Sagittarius, we are called upon to increase our understanding and awareness of the world around us, muster up the courage to expand our horizons and branch out into new ways of thinking, gain more confidence and optimism by focusing on the big picture, transcend the details of mundane existence, work on positive thinking as a way of life, nurture faith, hope, and vision, being careful to moderate our expectations. We might discover ways to transcend these details of day-to-day life. So, it's just kind of, it's like new. And my dad said probably like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, long enough for me to have kind of like almost forgotten, like lightly. He was like, oh, like he was like, I read that the day of the eclipse, you're supposed to kind of like act or do things that day that you want to be the theme, or that you want to be kind of like the vibe of the upcoming 6 months after. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so cool. But I kind of like forgot. And then I honestly forgot which day the eclipse was. So then, I guess it was yesterday. I'm on Twitter. First of all, I was just having like a really good day. I'm vlogging. Yesterday, I decided to like dress a little cuter than I normally do just to go to Whole Foods. And I just had this vibe of like, I just felt good. And I wasn't even thinking about the eclipse or anything. I was just like, damn, like I feel so cute today. Like sometimes if I'm like, oh, let me dress a little cuter, I feel like self-conscious, or I'm just like, I wish I had just worn a hoodie and sweats. Like I feel like awkward. But I felt like, yes, I just want to be out here. I was like vlogging. I felt so energized the whole day. And then I was like, wait, I was seeing the tweets of the like, oh, it's a solar eclipse. And I was like, oh my God. So I texted my dad and I was like, is today the day we're supposed to like act as if, or like, set our vibes? And he was like, yes. I was like, that is so crazy. So honestly, it just felt so good. That just made me so happy. And so that was great. But a lot of things about an eclipse is that it will like bring, how do I word? I'm trying to look for like if they word it a specific way, because I don't want to like get it wrong. Something ends in order for something to start anew. We might be called to give up something in order to move forward into a new chapter of our lives. It's important to allow the necessary surrender to the unknown. Basically, I read something that was like you have to almost face the past to move on from it, or, release it. And I just feel like these past couple of weeks, I don't know if it's because I've been doing more hip openers and just really honestly been trying to dig up old memories, but I just feel like I've been like, honestly this whole year, but these past few weeks specifically, I feel like I've just been remembering so much, and like in a way so many bad memories, and just like bad relationships with people and like people I had beef with, and just like so just like ew. And it was kind of like bringing me down a little bit. I was like, oh my God. And then I was thinking just about this past year, 2020, as far as like, oh, just like even triggering relationships with like guys, or like just tea and just like ew. And I was like, honestly, this past year, even though it's like, okay, part of that might just be I didn't really have a lot of opportunity to like meet people and to get into maybe a bad situation, but it's like, honestly, I didn't really have all these like things I'm thinking of and these like themes, and like, oh, it seems like this person kind of acted the same way this person did. Like, how was I acting to attract both these people? Whatever. I was like, none of that really happened this year. And then I was like, bitch, is that growth? Because y'all know the classic quote, like, you only, I don't know if like it's just a classic quote to me, but like, you only know however much you know. And I feel like it's so easy to like almost bring yourself down, or to like bully yourself, or just feel like ashamed almost for letting certain things happen, or like, you know, maybe giving someone a chance when you had a bad vibe. It's like you went against your intuition. But then it's like you learn, you grow from it. And just having that realization for myself was like, honestly, it just made me feel so much better about it, I guess. Because I was like, yeah, like, I have learned, and I have grown, and I have matured. And again, I've grown more confident in myself and my own judgment, trusting myself and my intuition and my confidence, and my, again, ability to recognize that I'm going to be okay alone. So why would I put up with bullshit? Why would I like notice red flags and then be like, well, let me just give him a chance. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Like, oh, I just like, oh my God. So having that realization, it was such a relief. And hopefully, you know, well, bitch, we all grow so much, like, every year. I'm sure, like, every year we can look back to either the previous year or years even before that and, like, kind of be like, ew to ourselves. If you can't, then good for you. Maybe you're perfect. Maybe you're not reflecting hard enough, honestly. Yeah. But it just signals. It just shows growth. And just, oh my God, like, I was just so, can I just tell you, like, you really just have to be able to look back at your past self, your younger self, and, like, have empathy for that person and compassion, I think. Because, again, it's so easy to walk around with, like, shame for past decisions, or, like, just, like, self-judgment. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe you fucked up. Maybe you should have made a better decision. Maybe, like, whatever. But if you're learning from it, growing from it, and, like, actively practicing the opposite, like, maybe trusting yourself more, or, like, whatever, bitch, you're on the right path. Like, it's hard work. There's so many times where I have, like, I feel like a classic example is just telling someone no, or, like, oh, no, I can't hang out, or, like, no, I don't want to do that, or, like, whatever. The amount of times that I've, like, practiced that this year and just been so uncomfortable and, like, wanted to throw my phone across the room and just, like, it's just, like, the worst feeling. But then it's, like, you realize, you get over it, you do it, and you realize it wasn't that bad. It's, like, that is where the growth happens, in the uncomfortable moments. You know, I feel like, especially when in my early years, when I would read, like, self-help books and whatnot, I just kind of had this idea of, like, what it meant, I guess, to be happy. I don't know. But it was just, like, positivity. Like, fake it till you make it. Like, just be happy. And I've since come to realize that that's not really it at all. You know, it's, like, one thing. I'm sure we can all think of someone who's just been a really negative person in our lives. Maybe it's even been ourselves. You know, just always, like, immediately looking to the negative, saying the negative, complaining. And it's one thing to, like, practice positivity in the sense of, like, okay, let's look at the bright side, or let's, like, let's not, say everything negative all the time. Because part of that I do think is kind of like you attract what you put out there. So if your vibes are always like just kind of negative for no reason, and obviously sometimes it's deeper than that, but anyway, point of me saying that, there's a difference between like forcing positivity and that, but then I feel like so much of the work almost is like painful and uncomfortable, and like thinking about past mistakes and then like actively working to like not do that again. It's like, it can really suck. But then it's like you're relieved and you're proud of yourself, and it's like, okay. And it always gets easier the more you practice. So yeah, I hope this is making sense. But let me know if you've been thinking about any of this or had that same kind of realization that I have had over these past few months. Like maybe you're spending more time alone. Yeah. I'm just so interested to see what happens next year. And I know I always say this, but if y'all don't journal, you definitely should. Even if it's just like once a month, once every few weeks, like just whenever. For me, it's like whenever I'm feeling something really strongly, whether it's I'm feeling really happy about something or just in general, or really angry or really sad, whatever, you get the point. Because it's not like I'm like, dear diary, this is what I did today. Like, you can do that if you want, but I feel like for me, it's more helpful if I use it as a way to like release emotions. But it's so interesting to look back on. And especially this year, what a historical year, like in so many ways. So, bitch, I need to honestly look at my diary journal entries from beginning of this year. Yeah, I just remember making my little vision board. Oh my God. So not embarrassed. I'm thinking about, I want to say so embarrassing because I remember like putting this text from like this guy I was talking to at the time, and it's just like, oh my God, you really thought, like, looking back, oh my God. Yeah. So let's honestly end this year strong. We can do it. I feel like that's honestly all I have to say. Like, bitch, 20 minutes. Yeah, I just feel like I feel like it's just been a crazy month because not only, bitch, pandemic, but just like the holidays, and I'm going back home, so I'm just trying to like get as much stuff done as possible before then, and Vlogmas. I'm so excited for that. So make sure you tune in if you haven't. New vlogs every day until Christmas. I just feel genuinely so good, and I'm so excited to bring this energy into the new year. So let me know if you related to any of this. I feel like this was a very like, I had a lot to say in a short burst, and that was it. Like sometimes I can just like ramble on for 40. Remember when I did an hour podcast? I need to bring that back. But yeah, that's kind of it. So let me know what your solar eclipse vibes were. If you could relate to anything that I'm saying or feeling, let me know. I would love to know. And post this on your IG story. Love you guys so much, and I will talk to you next time.